Sup everyone. Now this has been the video a lot of you guys have been waiting for, requesting for, damn near threatening me, saying like, Walrus, I'm unsubscribing if you're not making a PvP guide video next. Alright, so I'm doing it. Currently, I want to say I have some credibility when it comes to PvP. I've been doing it for quite a bit, and I actually have a pretty decent win rate. Nothing to really flex about because I'm still quite low rank. I've actually only started yesterday and done a bit more today as well. My current win-loss ratio is 26 wins, 4 loss, sitting me at 86.67%. I tried really hard to get that .69% at the end. Just couldn't make it happen. I'm sorry. Unsubscribe if you're disappointed. But today we're here to talk about some of the comps that I have used. Well, comps. That really is just one that I've used, pretty much abused at this point, to get free wins. Some of these wins are pretty clutch, as you'll see on screen. And some of these wins are just an absolute breeze. And what I've started to realize is most people have little idea as to what they're doing. And if you happen to stumble upon this video and can watch all the way to the end, I guarantee if you follow these steps, you're most likely going to get some really free wins. Okay, so without further ado, the name's Walrus. I make tower fantasy videos, Genshin Impact videos, all of the sorts. I might be dropping 2 videos a day sometimes as Sumeru is about to come out. So subscribe if you want, and let's get you some wins. All right, so first and foremost, the thing that you need to understand is composition matters. It's not like this game is as straightforward and easy that you can throw SR characters in there and expect to come out with like a 99% win rate, or a high win rate for that matter. A character that you really want to secure before going into PvP is going to be Nemesis, and I rank Nemesis even higher than Meryl. I think a lot of people would say Meryl is the queen. That's like the one that you should be going for, but you'll quickly see why I think that Nemesis may be the better option here if you are looking to secure a character. So out of the 4 teams that I've pretty much both played as well as played against, the only teams that have ever managed to beat me are ones that have Nemesis in them. And I'm going to list out the 4 teams for you guys right here that I heavily, I'm talking like this is the S tier of team compositions for PvP right now. And the first one is Meryl, Coco Rider, and Nemesis. Second team is Meryl, Zero, and Nemesis. Third one is Huma, Meryl, and Nemesis. And if you don't have Nemesis in this case, you could play Coco, but I recommend Nemesis. The last and final team is Coco Rider, Zero, and Nemesis. So if you guys write this out, you will see that the only single unit that's in every single one of these teams is Nemesis. This is the character, like the common denominator here. She is the one that makes all of these teams extremely great options. And remember, PvP is balanced as well as matrices are non-existent. So everybody has 6-star characters. So your Nemesis will be able to summon 2 totems. That is pretty big for zone control and just getting a lot of extra damage out. You won't even know it. It's just passive damage. She's really good. She heals, and she has decent enough range. If you want to play at a distance, you can drop some decent damage with Nemesis while your other skills and stuff are on cooldown. So followed by that, Meryl is like your executioner. If Nemesis is your support DPS, Meryl is your main on-field DPS. Meryl is the one that's going to be executing the kill 9 times out of 10. All right, 9 times out of 10. Then you guys might be wondering, all right, so what's the last spot for then? The last spot is dependent on what you have and or what you want to do. If you have both Zero and Coco Rider, what kind of playstyle do you have? If you prefer a more defensive, reserved playstyle with more protection, I'd say go with Zero. His skill gives you a good shield, and combined with Meryl at 3 stars, you're able to swap between the 2 of them and get shielding pretty consistently. However, the problem with Zero is that he doesn't have the kind of setup that Coco Rider would offer you. So Coco Rider's 3 auto into charge combo, which just basically means left click your mouse 3 times and then hold down the mouse left click to essentially cast a great CC skill, which also actually, people don't talk about this, generates you quite a bit of charge for your ultimate abilities or your discharge. You know what? I'm not going to call it discharge. That's just... can I just please call their ultimates? I'm talking about the one where you swap into them and then they do a big attack. I'm not going to call it discharge for obvious reasons. Okay, so I'm going to call them ultimates, and I'm going to call the one where you have to press 1 their skill. All right, when it comes to PvP, the 3 most important things that I think people need to understand is timing, skill rotations, and setup. Right, you're not going to get anywhere in PvP if you just go in mashing buttons. And trust me, I fought plenty of players who just come in, they just start mashing. They use up all their dashes, and then they're just running around, endless aggro, trying to stun me, try to kill me. And it's very easy and telegraphed. What's very difficult to play against is people who's willing to slow down their pacing. This is the key in timing. You can go hard and fast and ferocious, but you can also slow it down and mess up their rhythm. Bait for skills, pretend like you're coming in and then dash back at the last second, bait out their relics. Don't worry, we're going to talk about relic setup later. But with Marrow Coco Nemesis, or Marrow Zero Nemesis, or Huma Marrow Nemesis, or Coco Zero Nemesis, all these comps offer great range options, that being Zero and Coco as well as Nemesis in all these comps. When people come into you, Marrow is the one that's going to deliver the finishing blow. Oftentimes in these clips, you'll see me holding on to Marrow's skill for an extended duration just to get that perfect execution. And that leads us into skill rotation. How do you execute a perfect skill combo? When it comes to Marrow, what I've noticed works the best is that you use her ultimate into her skill into a hold charge attack, meaning her spin to win combo. All right, that pretty much can take somebody from full to zero if they're not careful. But there are many ways to kind of play around it as well, and I'll talk about some of the counter plays. But that's the skill rotation for the most part down. It's not that crazy, right? Now, if you want to have an extended opening attack, you would need Coco. See, this is the beauty, right? If you don't have Coco, it's very difficult for you to fish for an engagement at a distance, at a safe distance. So if you play Zero, sure, you have more defensive capabilities, you have that shield with your skill, and you have some damage buffing, but at the same time, it's going to be a little more difficult to catch your opponents. With Coco's 3 auto charge attack, you have very little risk. As long as you have your shield up, you know, you're standing next to your Nemesis towers, you can fish for an opening. And once you get that opening, dash in, and you can use Marrow's ultimate, or you can straight up just chain into Marrow's skill from distance. You don't even have to move. Sure, it might not get you the kill, but it's going to grind the enemy down quite a bit. Then you swap to Nemesis and poke at them until they're forced to engage you. All in the meantime, you're still either charging up your ultimate skill, or you already have your ultimate skill and you've swapped to Nemesis to wait for them to charge in to kind of make back the damage loss that you just did to them, which then allows you to counter with Marrow's ultimate. Now, a big mistake I see people doing is using your ultimates when your shields are about to break. You do have to understand, once your shield breaks, you are going to be stunned. You do not want to use your ultimates when your shield's close to breaking and you don't know if your enemy has a hard-hitting skill lined up to execute. Oftentimes, I'll see people charge up their ultimates and I'll go in for the kill, even though they're using a very powerful ultimate, but I know I'm going to be able to break their shield and cancel that ultimate. This is something very crucial that I think people need to start realizing. Understand how much shield can your characters break with what abilities and your damage threshold. I'm going to put this under skill rotation category because you really have to be keen on both your skill rotations as well as your opponent's skill rotation. For the most part, people will just mindlessly come in, especially if they're playing Huma, Marrow, and Nemesis, or Huma, Marrow, Coco. These people will fish for kills all day, every day. The Coco variant is going to be a little more annoying if they know how to properly fish for engagements with Coco. Other than that, you're gonna pretty much see these people just mindlessly charge at you with Huma stuns and then try to swap into Marrow for big damage. Now, speaking of Coco, we have to talk about the setup. The setup is very simple. Like I said, 3 autos into charge. You can fish for it multiple times over and over. And with Coco, you can also freeze them, especially if you are running Coco with Marrow. Both of them has a chance to freeze the enemies. So if you get that freeze off along with a shield break, along with a Marrow ultimate, that character is likely going to die. You're just gonna finish them off with a charge attack and spin to win. Setups are really important in PvP because for the most part at higher levels, you'll start seeing people not mindlessly engage. They'll just fish at a distance with Coco, they'll poke at you with Nemesis, and they'll swap to Meryl to get that shield, right? So every 20 seconds, if you swap into Meryl, you're gonna get a fat shield. That's gonna be very useful because people are gonna poke the living crap out of you. There's gonna be a lot of exchange of small bits and pieces of damage, and it's really gonna take using this Meryl shield to mitigate damage in conjunction with Nemesis or Coco healing to kind of sustain yourself until you get to fish for that huge combo break. And a lot of the times what I've seen is the fights will stall out for the first 2 minutes as we're testing each other out, fishing for kills, trying to combo each other, sizing each other up, going in to bait for attacks, and then coming back out really quickly. So just make sure you understand how to set up engagements and don't just run in. Don't be that guy that runs in, dashes forward, and just use Meryl's skill point blank with no CC. It's not gonna fool most people. Nowadays, people are very aware of the threats that Meryl poses when it comes to PvP. So don't just right click, use all 3 dashes to dash onto their face, and then use Meryl's ultimate. It's not going to work. I guarantee you it's not going to work on most people. You need to fish with Coco. All right, followed by that, we're going to talk about relics. Now, this is the good part, right? As you guys can see, the relic setup that I have here isn't anything pay to win. It's just Missile Barrage and Magnetic Storm. These two are very good. They have relatively low cooldowns. They're very consistent and extremely useful. Both of them are SR and I would say are free to play friendly, and some of you guys might even have them at higher levels like myself here. I do think that they're invaluable when it comes to PvP. Missile Barrage pretty much is just free damage. You don't need to think about it. You don't have to do anything. You just click it and let the missiles do its thing. Magnetic Storm is the one that disorientates. If you ever realize your input commands are all messed up is down, left is right, it's kind of like Shinji's Shikai from Bleach. Everything's reversed, right? So that's Magnetic Storm, and it also does a bit of damage, although that's not the main reason I use it. It's just to disorientate the enemy. If I want to go in and maybe fish for skills or go for the kill, oftentimes I'll lead with Magnetic Storm. Then I'll execute my Coco stun and go in with Meryl to finish the job. Oftentimes they're too busy running away and figuring out their inputs to notice that I'm setting up and fishing for a kill with my Coco. Okay, so highly recommend these two. I think these two should be highly recommend these two, and everything else kind of is situation. Okay, with all that said, I hope you guys are lucky enough to have some of these units for your composition. Like I said, you can rewind back to the beginning. Any of those particular teams that I've mentioned, I'm going to say it once again: Meryl, Coco, Nemesis. That's a good team. Meryl, Zero, Nemesis. Another good team. Huma, Meryl, Nemesis. That's a good team. Or if you don't have Nemesis, this one you can run Coco. So if you don't have Nemesis, this is going to be one of the better teams that you can run. You can still fish with Coco in this particular team. And the last one is Coco, Zero, Nemesis. This is a sustain team. You don't really ever fully commit. You always sustain from a distance, and you heal and you sustain and poke and heal. It's a very annoying team to play against. It's very boring to play as well because you're just constantly on the run. Your goal is to finish the game through timeout, meaning that the time has fully finished. 5 minutes gone by, gone. If you're one of those people who like to play it extremely safe and just poke from a distance, this is going to be your team. Okay, with all that said, this is going to be the best PvP team comps currently that I've noticed. I'm sure there are other good ones, but these ones are going to be some of the best. I guarantee you, if you master Coco fishing into Meryl Execute, you're going to be getting some freebie kills and shoot up the ranking when it comes to the PvP ladder. Now that I've shared this with you guys, hope you guys take this and make good use of it. Comment down below what team comps you're currently running and your win rate. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys try this out and getting some free wins. Till next time, urge you all stay safe. Peace, bye.